Hello and welcome everyone to this final day of Campus Party Digital Edition, the Netherlands. Today we are here with Richard Kai, who is a teacher and who invented a model for the 21st century to change the way we are testing our students on and preparing them on a future of lifelong learning. Richard will be presenting, so I will invite him here on stage. And Richard, can you introduce yourself for a moment?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Richard. Can you see my screen as well? The presentation? Yeah, that's it. This is brilliant. Thank you, Nick. Well, first of all, I'm so happy that
You can just look at your screen, and
Nick
we
can
will
give
be
me this
speaking
opportunity, but I'm going to switch off this
something, right?
here because I can hear myself echoing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
wait a second, let me just double check.
Mm-hmm. You can mute the phone that you're using, and you can listen to the audio on your laptop.
Yeah. Okay, it's done for. Brilliant. So, yeah, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Richard. I'm more like a semi nerd. I can understand business, I understand IT, and I'm also a teacher at the University of Rotterdam, Rotterdam Academy to be precise.
Mm-hmm.
And before I continue, I would like to know how many people are already in the room and where are they from?
At the moment, I don't see any at the moment, but people are moving in and out. That's online. It's the online world, so people can tune in later, and we will, if you want, we will ask them questions, and they can answer them, and we can even do polls with them. But let's see what you got to present, and
Okay,
let's see who is joining in. And yeah,
brilliant.
you
We'll
can
just get
you can
started.
ask.
So, basically, what happens is when I was starting out as a teacher about 4 or 5 years ago, one of the first questions that I got as a teacher was like, "Hey, Richard, do you need money?" I said, "What? Yeah, do you need money? Is that why you became a teacher?" I said, "No, I didn't become a teacher because I need money. I just want less muppets in my industry because." The thing is that when you are in the working field, you have certain expectations of the students who finish their colleges and other educations. So you know what your demand is, you know what level they need to have when they want to work for you. So I can stand on one side on a working field and complain about, oh, we need this, we need that, and the schools do not meet that level. So, from my point of view, it was more or less like, hey, I can pass on my skills to some extent, of course. And so, if you pay attention, then hopefully you will get to a certain level that I would like to see in a working field. And if you mess up, well, that's probably on me or on you, depends. So, I want less Muppets in my industry. So what happens is that I know what kind of competencies and skill sets are asked in my working field, and it doesn't really matter if it's software or you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be a construction worker. You all need to get a certain set of skills. So what happens is that I was actually uh, going more in depth how school systems were actually built or constructed. And I did some amazing discoveries for me because I didn't know anything last couple of 5 years. But then it hit me, and I developed with my small team something called Scorecard at School. But I will show you my road towards Scorecard in School and how and what we did, because our major focus with Scorecard is closing the skills gap between education and the work field. So basically, what happens is that on the left side you have education, and on the right side you have the working field. The goal for the education is, of course, educating students, teach them all kinds of stuff through minors and training and course stuff. And the working field, they need students because they're going to be the future employees on a certain level. That's basically it. So what Scorecard does, you see the yes in the middle. We're still figuring out a very cool logo. So if somebody has a very cool logo idea, then just shoot. but we want to be the cornerstone. Well, not the cornerstone, the keystone that actually is in between. And I know there are a lot of companies out there trying and doing so. And we spent like 4 years developing a scorecard, what it is now. And I will show you a demo later. So let's say you want to be an astronaut. So you sign up for a course to be an astronaut, right? So you want to be the next explorer, I don't know, for the Tesla company, at SpaceX, whatever. You want to be an astronaut, right? So you will sign up for a course. And to become an astronaut, you need to have certain competencies. So basically what happens, this is probably for, well, teachers know this. So what you do is you define the end goals. So you define the study learning outcomes. So you see the rocket on the right. So what would happen if you want to become an astronaut, or in order to make you a very competent astronaut, what kind of skill sets would you need? Well, you need to be adventurous, of course. You need to be good in planning. Probably you have to be, I don't know, good in, I don't know, problem solution stuff. Because, well, we all seen those movies, Apollo 13 or whatever, disaster could happen or whatever. So you need to have certain competencies and skill sets, right? So what happens in these 4 years, and sorry for the Dutch version, I totally forgot that, that's my bad. But you see on the left side, you see your years, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then throughout the whole course in your 4-year study, you will do different modules. You do projects, you do internship, you do your thesis eventually. But throughout those years, you will learn different skill sets. Those teachers don't give you exams just because they like it. No, all these exams, all these ways of tutoring you and validating your skill sets, your competencies, is all based and focused towards your end goal to becoming a very good astronaut. So yet again, you can be an astronaut, an accountant, construction worker, a programmer, whatever. Everybody needs to be tested and therefore validated on certain skill sets. So that could be, I don't know, you have to be assertive, courageous, you have to tone leadership, etc. Right? So when I became a teacher a few years ago, when the student asked me, like, Richard, do you need money? I said, no, I want less Muppets in my industry. And then it hit me, is that I said, so how is actually a grade constructed? So if you have a graduation diploma or a certificate, normally you see the skills. Well, you don't see the skills, you see the grades, you see your points, you see your ECTS points. And what actually happened is that I started digging, and I found out that these grades were actually constructed by skills. So these skills have actually hidden skills in them. So my first remark was, why don't we see those hidden skills? Why don't we just show them? Because it's already there. It's already in the curriculum. So, for instance, here you see management as a point, as a grade. But to be a proper manager, or a very good and solid manager, you should have decisiveness as a skill. You have to make decisions. You have to be a good team worker, or you can be a dictator, of course. But I don't really think that a lot of people would like that. You have to be a good listener, and you have to be assertive, right? So all these skills together make you a competent person in management. So that's why we invented something called Scorecards. So basically what we did, as you see on the right, we have Jane the candidate or Jane the student, whatever, give or take, is that we developed study card based on the curriculum. So all the stuff that you just saw, like you want to become an astronaut, all the skill sets, all the hard skills, all the soft skills that have been tested and validated throughout the education, we took them out automatically. So a teacher can see actually what a student is capable of. So you see the skill sets, but also students can use this and put it next to their resume. And that's actually pretty cool, because normally when you go as a student or when you apply for job offering, most of the work field companies, they will ask you, hey, do you have any experience? Can you show us your portfolio? Now you can actually put this next to your resume, and say, hey, during my course, I did this, I did that, etc. And to put it in perspective is if you have a school that teaches art students or gaming students, it's easier for them to show a portfolio, right? So because they have these end products like a game or a very cool looking painting, that's easy to assess and easy to understand. But if you are, let's say, I don't know, a student who does, I don't know, international business administration, I would, as a human resource manager, I could make an assumption what that course would entail, right? But this goes far more in depth because I could show them, oh yeah, we do international sales, we know how to negotiate, we can do stuff, etc. But this actually goes more in depth because you learned how to collaborate with other students. You had to show leadership. You had to do, I don't know, problem solution stuff, right? It's all there in your study card. So that's actually pretty cool. So for us, because when we read the paper as well, you still need to read the paper to get some feedback. So what's going on in the world is that you would see stuff like the diploma. Does it have any value? Yes, it does, but it's there. It's hidden in plain sight. So our goal is not like bye resume, but you could put it next to your resume. You can put it next to your resume. Go to Scorecard, go to Study Card. That will be live for the Dutch, for the Netherlands, and it's all based on the European qualification framework. I mean, for some students, that would be like, huh, what's the qualification framework? Doesn't really matter. But the long story short, you have 8 levels. PhD is the highest, and in every European country, even in the world, they have the same rating. They have the same leveling. So a PhD in the USA or in the Philippines is the same. So tomato doesn't really matter. So we started out in Holland. We're gradually moving towards other countries. So, but it takes a very long time to visualize the skills hidden in your curriculum. So basically, that's my short story. What we did with Scorecard. And I really hope that you guys can have a look, read through it. If you have any questions, you can email me. And then hopefully you guys can use this next time. And we're working on some other very cool stuff, but I can't really talk about it now because it's all there's there, and I'm very enthusiastic. But hope this really helps with you guys, students, that you can show next time when a teacher comes from the work field, like, hey guys, this is my scorecard. This is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of. And for us as teachers, we have a nice picture that we can talk about to emphasize the fact that, hey man, I see that you're really good at this part of the skill sets. Maybe you can do something like this. You can be an astronaut. You can be a very good project leader, etc., etc. So for me, I want to thank Nick again and the whole of the rest of the team. I wish you a very nice weekend, and hope to speak to you guys soon.
The live chat, there are some nice questions, Richard.
Okay.
So you can alt tap your way to the StreamYard on your laptop if you want.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna StreamYard. There's some questions.
Yeah, so there is one here. So skills you can measure, or do they? Yeah. So there are some skills that you cannot measure, but you have found a way to measure them.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so what actually would be cool is, and skills are more important than figures. I completely agree. Good point, Richard. Thank you very much. Yeah, so how are we measuring skills? Okay, this is going to be somewhat more in depth. Hey man, Nick, you've got a nice colleague there.
Him as well.
Yeah, so what happens is that this is where you go more in depth. And actually, I should show you something. Is that, well, I'll do a live search actually. You guys can still see this, right?
I can do that for you if you want.
Well, I'm just going to show everybody here what's going to happen. There's something called rubrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You guys can see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where me, as a complete nitwit, 5 years ago, I didn't even know what a rubrics was. basically what happens is that as a teacher, and I have like 30 kids, 30 students, and I want to give them a grade, right? So Nick, let's say I'm going to give you a 10 out of 10 score, yeah, and I give the other student a 5 out of 10 score. I need to how would you say it? I need to validate why Nick has a 10 out of 10 and the other student has a 5 out of 10. That's actually based on the rubrics. So what happens is that here in the rubrics, you can see all kinds of stuff to get a, I don't know, a 5 out of 10 score. The skills are in here. So for instance, let's say I'm just going to go back to the StreamYard to see you guys again. Oh, I see double stuff. What happens is that if I give Nick a 10 out of 10 score, I would say like, okay, Nick, you did a presentation. You were very clear. You had a good preparation. You were very enthusiastic, and you had a clear, I don't know, a clear, solid, structured presentation on the whole, right? Whereas the other student, he was too late, like me, because I didn't have a good preparation, and so that means so I left out some stuff. So therefore, me as a teacher, I saw that. And so then I said, well, look, right, if I compare to Nick, based on the rubrics, he had a very clear presentation. He was very concise, la, la, la. Sorry, you, you did it. So I have to give you a 5 out of 10 score. So basically what happens, if you put it in as a teacher, at your study card, your rating will be not like 5 out of 10 score, but it's that you don't have the pass mark. You would go like, okay, this is good, this is fair, this is not so good, this is a failure. So that's basically what happens. Because as a teacher, you have blue eyes, I would trust you. No, it doesn't work like that. You don't get a sticker because I like you. No, this is how teachers actually measure and grade your stuff. But a lot of students, they go like, didn't know about that. Why is that? So we are taking out all the curriculum stuff. That's pretty in-depth stuff. It's shitty work to do so. Nobody wants to do so. That's why probably the scorecard wasn't there anymore. But like I said, I'm more like a semi-nerd, and I did so. And well, I can show you something else actually. This is the first Excel sheet. We call it the dirty laundry document. This is company secrets. Google. I don't know how much more time I have, Nick.
Oh, you have some time. The next session is starting at 11, so.
Okay. I'm gonna show you something here. Let's see if I have your final ones. Okay, so this is a demo in year 2. Let me see. You can still see my screen, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay. This was based on a school where I was working a couple of years ago. So probably you guys, you can do some digging, and it doesn't really matter because this is probably all old again. But I'm going to show you this based on the questions. So how did we validate stuff, and how did we get some stuff out there from the curriculum? So this was a course called Media Entertainment Management. And what we did basically, so this is actually a good tip for everybody who wants to do coding and stuff. You don't start the code immediately. So what you do up front is that you figure out what the variables are within a curriculum. So what be the first is that you have to have a name of a student, of course, student number, grade, obtained competencies, mastery, blah, 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 so on, so on. And now here it gets interesting. These are like modules. These are modules, course strategy, this is a research thingy, la, 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 la. They've got course codes, etc. So basically what we did, we just started digging in 2 years of what kind of modules are there in year 2 of that study. And now you see here on the right, you see research, organization and management, and you see these numbers here. These are actually the level of mastery. So basically, research is the main competency that you want to educate students in, and the number 2 would be here organization and management. And here are the levels of mastery. So basically, we were just going through all the books, all the study handbooks, all the handouts, the manuals, And we just started ticking off like how many times is the competency research being taught or validated throughout the whole course. So what we did here, you see research in the course research,
Mm-hmm.
that has been validated 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So we did this not only for research organization management, but we did it for all the 10 main study learning outcomes or the main 10 companies competencies. So you see here on the bottom, okay, this is a bit nerdy, but you see that the research competency is 16 times tested or validated throughout the whole course. That's what's happening. And then we started to do so. That's basically what we did.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first Excel sheet what you started with, and then after that you started
Yeah.
to turn into more of an app or of
Yes,
a
it's also it's all web based, and our first goal will be to give it away for free for students, because for me when I was a student, is that what I experienced like, oh, Richard, what are your skill sets? Do you have any experience? You're like zero, nothing, zilch, right? And then because education is very slow compared to commercial industries, we were just very pivoting. So where will be a way to make money? Of course, because these servers, they're not free. And luckily I had some money, so I'm just paying for stuff. It's more or less trial and error. But first of all, you start out with pen and paper, you use the Excel sheet, and then gradually, actually, this was actually pretty cool. When we started out, so we had our demo, we did it at in Holland University. We started out. Now we're doing it at the Hogeschool Rotterdam, so that's more the University of Rotterdam. And we also went to an event in England. That was the bet in London. You probably know about that, Nick. Anyways, the bet. No, not gambling, but bet, the British education technical stuff, whatever. And actually, there was a guy from Colombia. He was a very senior consultant, and he said, "Hey, Richard, that looks actually pretty promising. Would this work internationally?" Yes, it would, because
maybe the same. Yeah.
it's the same structure. Because in Holland we would use MBO for level 5, but in Germany you would call it Das MBO. I don't know, right? Or you called MBO in Spain like MBOs, whatever. But it's the same structure. So in Colombia it would be the same. And then he said, "Do you have 500,000 users?" I'm like, "No." Could be, could be. But it's like, okay, come back when you have 500,000 users. And now we're just gonna wait to pull the lever and then see what happens. Because now all the 2 million students, they will have direct access to this. Scorecard, that's actually the other website, will go live next week. And we're just going to hand them out for free. Just see what happens.
Scorecard, study card. That's cool as well.
Yeah, Scorecard.school, but it's not there yet. There's like a real old school under construction. It's there. It's live. Actually, I can show you the live version, because that's my way of saying like, hey, look, man, I'm not lying. Pushing the guys.
Let's have a
Let me see here. This is a pretty cool. Good question, Nick. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, curious.
Okay,
So what do you with that consultant, senior consultant? If you get 500,000, why did he ask for that amount?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question again?
Why did he ask for 500,000 users?
Because it has a validation that it actually works. And I said, welcome to Holland, because we're like really shitty, really slow. And well, he just wants to have like a benchmark. I mean, he can trust me, of course, but he needs to see stuff working, right?
Sure.
So if you want to be... Huh?
500,000 is a lot. Like if we have all the universities in the Netherlands, you probably...
Exactly. So that's going to be my goal. I'm just going to pull the lever. Like, hey, man, all the MBO kids, like if it's 2 million, probably the server is going to be exploding. But then I'm going to call this guy, because this is a funny story, is that this guy, he's called Escobar. I was like, what? Is this for real? Is this legit? So I got an email, because I just set up the website. And then I got this Carlos Felipe Escobar. I'm like, what? But me being very civilized, I just replied like, hey, thank you very much. Yeah. And then this guy Skyped me, and I was like, okay, this is for real. This is pretty cool, man. We don't have anything yet, but it's there. And we also get some other companies who are tied to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, like, hey, this is pretty cool. But how many people are actually using this? So we need to have more traction. So I'm really happy that you guys gave us the podium. But it took a lot of effort and a lot of manpower, as in, we have a small team, like 5 people, but it
Yeah.
takes a lot of pivoting, making it easy to understand, accessible, because it's data which you want to turn into information, right? But I will show you the website. So this is study card. It's my demo version. Wait, let me see if I can go to the register page. Yeah. So this is now for the Dutch country MBO, so level 5. So what you could do is that you can give, or not give, you can put in your educational details. Like, I started my course in 2012. I don't know. I went to Amsterdam, the Amsterdam Media College. I don't know. Nick, any course of interest?
I went to Avans University, and I went to the Roye Panne in Eindhoven. Do you have it already in the system?
Do I have Roye Panne? I don't think so. I don't know. It's actually a good case.
Yeah, let's see. I studied hospitality.
Yeah, Roye Panne here, Tilburg.
Yeah, and then you see HOM, HOM as a course. Hospitality Entrepreneurship Management. Horeca Manager.
Horeca, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, just to go in and then, I don't know, Nick. Van Breda. I'm just going to put in like Nick, here, Nick.
That's right.
This is actually, because it's a demo, it's like you have to have other codes to get in here. So I'll just go and Scorecard. Create account. I will send to you this later, Nick.
Cool.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we're very conscious about the privacy stuff. It's all your data, and if you want to delete it, just go ahead. We don't want to be a Facebook.
No.
Delete it. You can use this sentence like, "Hey, Richard said it's always your data." We don't really give a fuck about that. It's your data. We want to be very transparent. That's me, being the company owner. It's like, no, look, man, I don't want to have any trouble. Just your data. If you want to get out, get out.
Yeah, you're a teacher, Richard. So
I know, man. I have to be a good example.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is that this is I had another student already lined up. So this is a student who has been doing the course assistant, construction work, living and maintenance. And this is where it says, this is your profile based on your course. So this is all in Dutch, and I don't know, but we could also do this for English or Spanish people, etc.
I can then translate to English.
Yeah, well, I can do just, I don't know, raise mouse button and then, I don't know, do translate. But every course on MBO or level 5 has core tasks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are just 2 core tasks, and it seems like not a big deal. It doesn't seem like a lot of information, no. But as you can see here, is these 2 course tasks entail or contain actually 3 working processes. So let's see what happens, what's in here. So this core task, you are able to do some work on or in the area or in the field of construction work and living, maintenance, etc. But in order to obtain this competency, actually, well, not competency, this core task, you need to be able to do some stuff. You need to be able to finish or round it up in a good sense of manner. And you have to collect some kind of other stuff. And these working processes have competencies. So although this is in Dutch, you would have the instructions, the procedure as a competency that you need to fulfill. You need to collaborate and, well, I would say overleggen, discuss. You need to have expertise in some region as a competency, and you know how to make use of certain materials and instruments. So these are competencies. And as you can see here, these competencies are actually built up from competence or components and skills. And you're like, huh? What are these? And these are you work during or you work according to guidelines. You have a skill that is that you can actually follow along instructions, right? And these are all the stuff. And like, okay, Richard. So how does these stars, right? The rating, how do these get in there? I will get to that later. Oh, this is where this is a bit stupid.
So you
Right.
are trying to implement like all the courses
It's
in.
already in there.
You already
All,
have.
all the courses, all those courses from the Netherlands are in here.
So how
Took some
get
time, but it's
all
there.
the competences of all the studies on MBO?
Yes, it's already in there. So we've got also a lot of people like recruitment and companies who are very interested in this. So what you see here is you see A to Z, and you can actually do like this, like I don't know, Control P. No, well, it's not here yet, but you can print it out.
Search.
Pretty cool. Now, the question that I mostly get is that Richard, what happens? Because how did those stars get here? And this is pretty cool because basically what we have now is that once you graduated, you can basically say you have you have passed all the competencies, all the stuff. So everything starts at a base. Then we will ask people to swipe their own skills. So more like swipe. Yeah, you can do it on your mobile phone. So you go through all your stuff. Just do some stuff, etc.
You can one or yeah. Okay, so it's
do some more. So this is more like this is your own self-assessment, right? So it's more like what you could do doing a resume. But then again, what we will do next, with your consent, of course, is that we can show this to the teachers who can actually go to you and like, hey, Nick, you said that you did some stuff, la 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 la, on this competency part. What would happen if we could help you get better at certain skill sets, etc. So this is going to be a push towards the schools. So this is basic classic marketing for you. You have your base. All the students will like this. That's my assumption. Because I even tested out during my football team. Is that there's some guys who did MBOs like, hey guys, this is pretty cool. Okay, I understand this, and so really happy. So now we're going to use this as a
assessment for students.
Yeah, assessment for students, but it's more or less like in Holland, all the teachers, they are a study coach, and not all the teachers know every student by heart, right? So Nick, I know you, but your friend next to you, your colleague, your fellow student, I don't know him. So what I could do next is actually just press a button as a teacher, like, oh, this guy, I see his skill set, like, and then maybe he says, hey, I want to be a presenter, or I want to be a manager. I'm like, okay, based on your skill set, maybe you could do some extra stuff on, I don't know, this course, or right? So you can measure your study success and study outcome.
Can I ask you?
Yeah?
Can I ask you something? Did you test this also in this time with employees?
Yeah, that's going to be the next phase because 1.5 years ago we already got the question from employees, and we were still just figuring out how the hell we're going to do this because it's going to be a keystone. It's very ambitious, and that's why it took a very long fucking time. Sorry, excuse my language. So basically, what we did is that we created a framework, and we started out with the education. Because the working part or the working area, like assessing employees, can be very time-consuming, and there are already like a dozen of instruments already measure competencies of people. But here's a cool fact that we already did on a very small mini pilot session, is that when HR management talks with their respective employee, they're going to ask like, okay, what are your skill sets, and where do you want to improve. Thank you. Want to improve and that kind of stuff. And then they're like, yeah. We took something called the SWOT and the SMART from the education part. You guys probably remember this, right? You have to write your own
Every
improvement document, right? So what we actually did, we recreated the SWOT and the SMART stuff, and it's still in a pilot version phase actually. So we're going to use that and use it for the business part, because also from a business point of view, they're like the Belbin test. You have the disk, you have the other stuff. We don't want to be there because there are already other companies who are very, very good at that. But what we can do is that we can take those assessments or job stuff and get it back or give it back to the education. Like, hey, you want to be a manager, or you want to be an artist, or you want to be, I don't know. We can give it back to the students or to the education. Like, hey, these guys who are on that level, who have this role, profession, these skills are needed, so the education can actually level or actually do stuff. Yeah. So yeah, work field is going to be used as well to some extent, but also for HR, they can actually just say like, "Hey man, where's your scorecard?" That's actually what I want to hear. Like in a couple of years, like, "Hey, do you have a scorecard?" What? Oh yeah, the brilliant product, Richard and his team.
And can
Oh
you
my. No, to be
can you
honest, it's
to exam
huh? You
some
you
delay?
you broke up, guys.
Yeah, there's some delay, I think.
Yeah. What was the
Yes.
question?
Yeah, can you ask role, please?
Okay.
Don't talk at the same time.
Okay. Can you connect? I developed a lot of things in MBO education, so I know the kwalificatiedossiers and stuff,
Yeah.
and ways to exam and to validate skill. But where the big problem was always the exams. It's separated. Education and exams are separated in so the exams are very pointed on figures at the end, and that's where education is mostly steer, and I think that's a, a wall have to break through. I agree with your story. So, but how do you connect them with this skill?
Could be. Yes. Basically, what we do is we just go right through the curriculum. So, if I understood your question correctly, you already, or what you said is that you already have like tools, you have the exams, you get the grades, you get the points, etc.
You could have heard. You heard us, Richard.
Yeah, I heard some bits and pieces. Wait, is it my connection or yours or? But I'll just see if I can get a better connection.
Did you hear
guys?
the question, Richard?
Yeah, I heard some bits and pieces. Guys? Guys, are you still there? I don't know where everybody is. I'm gonna try again, guys.
Hey, we're back. Let's see. There we go. Hey, just doing this by phone right now. Just to our computer was ruining it.
Okay.
So we had one question. Like, you're doing pilots right now, and we know it's really hard to get into the education system and getting them to use new tools, like more workload and all of reasons that they're not doing it, or the director is not really happy with it, or the teachers are happy but the director is not really taking it. So how can you get through that? So we really like the idea.
Cool. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Oh, Nick, there you are again.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. The thing is that this is also a classic push and pull. But then
Mhm.
again, in regards to Raoul, his question before that, because I just got some bits and pieces what he was asking, because we know there are a lot of tools and it takes a long time. And yes, you can get the teachers interested or very happy that, oh, we should use this. But then again, you've got the board of directors, and to be very honest, it takes a lot of time, and you need to have a business case. So that can be in various regions, or you have to. In Dutch, we would say you have different buttons to press, right? And so the teachers will be like, "Oh shit, man, I've got a shitload of workload." And for me, I'm very shitty in documentations, right? So I've got my partner Ronald, who's very good in doing the documentation part. But I can speak for every teacher. They would say like, man, the workload, the documentation is hell, right?
Mhm.
Paperwork.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if we could create something, which we're actually doing now, is that you decrease the amount of paperwork, right? you would have to have a program that actually just helps. This is straightforward. You don't need to have like a 5-hour course how to use it, because then your product is pretty shitty. I mean, I'm not an Apple fanboy because I use Apple and Microsoft throughout everything, but Apple is just really easy to understand, right? So in order to help people, you have to make your product very accessible. So keep it simple, stupid. That's one thing. The other thing is that you have to understand that the schools, they will have some money. Just look at the reports. You will know that they have money. But then again, you have all these levels of management and other stuff, and they have got audits and yada, yada, yada. You have to go through. But then yet again, if you can prove it's a numbers game as well, is that if it reduces the amount of paperwork, it will, I don't know, increase the student success, or it will improve the qualification or the quality of a student, whatever, or you can add against. And yeah, there's also a basic rule in product development. If you can add 10 times the value, then it's a no-brainer. And for us, it will be getting traction, because we started out in Holland, and just very slow, very slow, very slow. They see the potential, but then again, it takes a long time. But then again, recruitment is very interested, or the work field. And
how the companies react on this validating system? How the companies act this, because they are trained in reading figures.
Yeah.
Did you have results of that in time?
We have some very small results, which is basically via friends and family and people that I know professionally. We just showed them. They're like, "Shit, man, is this for real?" I mean, yeah. And then the question, and this is me just being a bit ballsy, is how much money do you spend on an assessment? Because basically what the assessment does is just checking your skill sets, which basically you already did during education. So we were just figuring out the pricing, because it's just in the sliding scale. Like if you have, I don't know, 10 potential employees a year, or 100, just have their study, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you can use the assessment, because yet again, we're not preaching that we have in-depth psychological studies. We don't. We just have the information throughout, or from bottom up, the educational part.
Yeah.
And actually, they're very positive.
Yeah.
So companies like the Randstad or Adecco, they are very they're very positive. So they were like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Can we use it for free? No.
I love your system. It's a great initiative. I think it needs to be supported, because this is a good way of validating people on who they really are and how they really developed in the past years. So I can.
Thank you, Richard. We're off to go to the next session in a moment. So I would like to thank you for showcasing all of this, and spread the word by sending it to us, and we will try to get it into our schools that we are connected to.
We're very open, and yet again, we're very pleased that you guys gave us the opportunity. But also, from our company point of view, we're yet again a very small team. But we're working on an API, and because we're very small, we're just giving out the API, because it also would help us in the branding as well. We're just hooking into other bits and pieces, right? And we already have talked to partner companies who already have assessment tools or other stuff, like, hey guys, do you have an API? Can you just plug it in? We're like, of course. I will say yes, but the team still has to make it. But we already have some cool stuff, but yet again, we're just trying to make it transparent, because it's there and just needs help. So thank you very much, guys.
I like to be connected, Richard, from my experience to yours. If I can do something, I like to hear. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Hey. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.
And have a wonderful day, Richard. Enjoy the weekend, and feel free to join our session of Doreen van der Wijk, who will be joining us on the purpose economy and how the future of wealth should look like. So I think it's really relevant.
Scorecard, man. She needs a scorecard study card. She just needs that.
So you gotta be there and let her know about it. So tune in on the next session on the New Horizon stage. And thank you all.
On behalf of the company, thank you very much. And we're going to do a donation as we promised, because we really support this kind of stuff. Because education, this is what, the last thing is education. education is the cornerstone of everything. You wouldn't be here without education. Bankers wouldn't be there. Okay, bankers, but they wouldn't be there without education. Fintech would not be there without education. Education is the cornerstone.
That's it. That's what we believe. Yeah, have a great one, and see you guys later in the next session.